This is a video by Richpin. Today we are working on a 1956 Volkswagen Beetle. Now, I have a viewer out there. Actually, I do have some viewers. I didn't know I had some viewers, but I do. And so one of my viewers has a bug like mine. And so he saw that I had put a fuel gauge in it. For people that don't know, these early bugs had no fuel gauge at all. So I put one in there. It was one of the better things that I did on the car. So today, I'm going to try to explain exactly how I put the fuel gauge in my bug. Here is the setting unit right here. It has one wire that goes up to the speedometer. Now the best way to do this job would be to find an aftermarket fuel tank, because it's a lot safer. It's never had any fuel in it. Now I know for a fact that they do sell a 55 style that would fit the 56, 57, but the profile is a little bit different. The metal on the 55 goes way out here and down, so it's a more square tank. Now I was very fortunate that when I did this job 25, 30 years ago, the tank had no fuel in it for a long time, so it had no vapors, so it was very safe for me to cut the hole. Now if you are going to modify your tank that has been in service recently, I mean it had gas in it, you want to do a lot of research on the internet, find the safest way to do that, because obviously it's very dangerous. Now the next thing that I did on my tank to put the sending unit in was I took some 2-inch tape, taped the tank where I wanted to put the sending unit, and then took the gasket, set it on the tape, transferred the inner hole to the tape and the 5 holes for the screws that hold the sending unit down. Now, it's very crucial that you drill the holes in a certain spot. You can't have the float go on this plane. It needs to go here. So you have to adjust your sending unit, transfer your holes when you get the float in the right area. And of course you have to adjust the float. You want to adjust the float so the float is touching the bottom of the tank when it is showing empty on the gauge, because you want your fuel gauge to read empty correctly. Full, you don't care. Empty, that's the crucial thing you want to adjust. So you have to adjust the wire on the float so you get your gauge correct. Now as far as making the hole, I don't recall if I used a hole saw or I used these nibblers. You don't want to use tin snips. You don't want to deform the metal. You want the metal to be nice and flat so that gasket will seal correctly. Now let's take a look at the setting unit. I'm going to put the part number right here, right now. The part number should show up on your screen. And that's the part number for this video sending unit. And if we go up here, we can see the wire. Goes up to the speedometer. And there is the gray wire right there. That is the one from the sending unit. Oh, the part number on the speedometer. Let me see if I can rotate my camera so you can see it. You see that right there? The last numbers 023B is for a 7172 speedometer. Now, you could use the 023A, which would be 68, 69, and 70. The fuel gauge is a little bit different on that. Now here is the other side of the fuel gauge. You can see that the wire goes down to the fuse panel. That's what it looks like. Now remember, this has to be 12 volt. So if you want to do the job, you got to make sure you convert over from 6 volt to 12 volt to get your fuel gauge. All right, let's go inside and take a look at what it looks like in the speedometer. Here is what the 7172 style speedometer looks like. You can see that it's 90 miles an hour maximum. And one of the biggest difference is the fuel gauge. See how it has that red area? The R area right there? Well, the 68, 69, and 70, I believe, did not have that. 71, 72. So they add that little style. Put the red area to tell you that you're in the danger zone. So, if you like the 71, 72 style, that's it right there. Here is the speedometer that was in the car. This is the original one. No glass, no needle. It's 80 mile an hour speedometer. And if we look at the back, you can see there wasn't much there. Well, I hope I covered everything. Before you do the job, make sure you do a lot of research on the internet as far as cutting the hole in the gas tank. You want to be safe and do a lot of research before you do it. Make sure that you know, you got the right tools and the right procedure to do that. Oh, one last thing. See this little piece right here? It's a sponge, car wash sponge. I made it to go around the neck of the gas tank right here. If the gas was really full, I didn't want it to ooze out, so this catches it right there. But what I use it for is when I refuel, I put it right there, take the cap off, set it right here. It doesn't scratch anything, doesn't fall off the tire, and it makes a little nice platform for the fuel filler cap right there. All right, I hope I covered everything. All right, guys, thanks for watching.